Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man walah wa ba'd. So we continue with our study of the three fundamental principles of Al-Islam. We're still within the muqaddimat, or the introductions that lead into the actual three principles themselves. And tonight we pick up from the statement of the author, in which he says, "I'lam rahimakallah أنه يجب على كل مسلم ومسلمة تعلم هذه الثلاث مسائل والعمل بهن." He said, "No, may Allah have mercy upon you, that it is obligatory upon every Muslim male and female to learn these three issues and to act upon them. الأولى أن الله خلقنا ورزقنا ولم يتركنا هملا بل أرسل إلينا رسولا فمن أطاعه دخل الجنة ومن عصاه دخل النار." The first of them is that Allah has created us and provided for us and not leave us wandering aimlessly without purpose. Rather, He sent a messenger to us so that whoever obeys that messenger enters the paradise, and whoever disobeys him enters the fire. وَالدَّلِيلُ قَوْلُهُ تَعَالَى, and the evidence for this is the statement of Allah, إِنَّا أَرْسَلْنَا إِلَيْكُمْ رَسُولًا شَاهِدًا عَلَيْكُمْ كَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا إِلَى فِرْعَوْنَ رَسُولًا فَعَصَى فِرْعَوْنَ الرَّسُولَ فَأَخَذْنَاهُ أَخْذًا وَبِيلًا. Indeed, we have sent to you a messenger as a witness over you, just as we have sent to Fir'aun a messenger. But Fir'aun disobeyed the messenger, so we seized him with a terrible seizure. And so, Sheikh Salih Fawzan, he mentions and he explains the statement of the author, "I'lam." No, this is similar to what came at the beginning of the Risala. إعلام no هذه كلمة قلنا فيما سبق أنها كلمة يؤتى بها للاهتمام بما بعدها ومعناها تعلم وافهم وتيقن. He says that the statement إعلام is a kalima that we said regarding or in that which has preceded at the beginning of the book. It is a kalima that is brought to show the importance of that which comes after. And the meaning of it is ta'allum, learn, right? Wafham, and understand this, wa tayaqin, and to be certain about it, have a certainty about it. Qawluhu rahimakallah, his statement, may Allah have mercy upon you, hada du'a laka birrahma. It's a du'a that the author is making for you as the reader, or as the student who memorizes and studies this text. Whoever comes into contact with this text, it is a dua for you to have the mercy of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. هذا أيضا كما سبق, this also as has preceded, في أن المعلم ينبغي أن يتلطف مع المتعلم, that it is appropriate for the teacher to be kind to his student. The teacher, he should be kind and gentle with his student, and this is amongst the examples of that the teacher makes dua for those who are learning and sitting in front of him. وأن يدعو له ويراغبه, and that he makes dua for him and that he encourages him. إن هذا من أعظم وسائل التعليم, and this is from the greatest methods or means of teaching. ولا ينبغي له أن يقابل المتعلم بالقسوة والشدة والغلظة. It is not appropriate for him to encounter or to deal with the student with harshness and with sternness and with just being hard on him. لأن هذا ينافر عن العلم. This is something which will chase the people away from knowledge. If the teacher is like this, you find some of the teachers of old, and I recall someone, one of our beloved brothers, Sheikh Mustafa George, he had mentioned how when he would sit in the durus of Sheikh Muhammad ibn Salih al-Uthaymeen as a young student, and how he observed from Sheikh Uthaymeen and the mercy that he would display to the students, and even when people, they would come to him and they would ask him questions, very simple questions that he probably answers 1,000 times a day, probably answered a million times before that, but he would answer each and every time the same basic fundamental question that someone asks. If they are sincere when they come to ask it, he would answer it, even if he had to answer it 1,000 times. Now, and he recalls that he heard that a person asked Sheikh Uthaymeen a question like this, and he said, "I know he's about to just rip this man apart, but the Sheikh, he would be gentle, he would be kind, he would answer the question." And he said this was far removed from the tarbiyah that the people will get from people like Abu Muslima back in the day. When someone would come to Abu Muslima, right, and ask him a question, he would say, "That's the stupidest question I've ever heard in my life." This is how he would deal with the people who sat in front of him. They would come to him to learn from him, and he said, "It's a stupid question, a foolish question. Why would you ask me something like that?" Right? And this is not what you learn from the ulama. What you learn from the ulama is cultivation of their students with gentleness and kindness and concern. They would ask about their affairs, ask about their families, and the likes of this. And so he says that that harshness like that, you're not feeling. Chase the people away from knowledge. Make them know you want to sit. Make them know you want to sit. Even though what you are holding and what you have may be something of benefit, this type of behavior makes the people not even want to sit with you. It chases the people away. ثم هذا أيضا يدل على النصح من الشيخ. Also, this is an indication of sincerity and sincere well-wishing from the sheikh. أنه يريد النصيحة والمنفعة والتوجيه السديد. That he desired to have nasiha for the general people, and likewise to benefit them and to direct them to that which is upright. قوله أنه يجب, his statement in which he says that it is obligatory. الوجوب معروف عند الأصوليين. That which is obligation, that which an obligation is known with the usuliyin, with the scholars of usul, those who lay down fundamental principles and extract fundamental principles from the text of the legislation and explain them. Then they have principles connected to the wujub, or that which is an obligation. والواجب هو الشيء الذي لا بد منه. And that which is wajib is that thing which is a requirement. It is a must that it be in place. وقد عرفه الأصوليون بأنه ما يثاب فاعله ويعاقب تاركه. And the scholars of usul have defined it as being ما يثاب فاعله, that which whoever does the obligation, he will attain the reward for fulfilling the obligation. But whoever abandons that obligation, he's going to be punished for it, for his abandonment of that obligation. This is the wajib, right? That which is merely mustahab is that ma yuthab fa'ilu. Whoever does the thing that is recommended, he's going to be rewarded. Wala yu'aqab tariku. And the one who does not do it is not going to be punished. It's not going to be punished. Why? Because it's not an obligation. You're not punished for leaving off something which is not obligatory anyway. Now, but the wajib is like this. وأصل الوجوب في اللغة, the basis, the basic foundation of wujub in the Arabic language, because that's the meaning of wajib in the legislation. As for in the Arabic language, right, and you see the correlation between these words and their linguistic usage versus their legislative usage. There's a relation between them, and it helps you to understand the term better. So the asl of it in the Arabic language is al-thubut wal-istiqrar. It's for something to be affirmed and something to be settled. For it to be settled, like you lay a foundation of something, now the house is settled upon the foundation, right? For something to be settled and to be firmly affixed. يقال وجب كذا. So you say, for example, وجب كذا, so-and-so وجب, like this, means ثبت واستقر, meaning that it was firmly fixed and it was settled. قال تعالى, as Allah Ta'ala said concerning al-budun, the sacrificial animals that we slaughter, especially the bigger animals like cows and camels, they're called budun, right? When you slaughter them. He says that Allah Ta'ala said about the cows, وَإِذَا وَجَبَتْ جُنُوبُهَا, when it lays down upon its side, right? When it lays down upon its side. سَقَطَتْ, meaning when it falls down, عَلَى الْأَرْضِ, upon the earth, وَاسْتَقَرَّتْ مَيْتَةً, and it settles, meaning that it's no longer kicking. It's not kicking anymore, it's dead basically, right? And after that, after it's been slaughtered. فَكُلُوا مِنْهَا وَأَدْعِمُوا, then eat from it and feed the poor. قوله يجب, his statement يجب يدل على أن الأمر ليس من باب الاستحباب. So when he says that it is obligatory upon us to learn these things, we spoke before at the beginning of the Risala how certain knowledge, it is fardun ayn, right? It's an individual obligation, no matter who you are, whether you're young old, male, female, free person, slave. If you're a Muslim, you must have certain aspects of knowledge. Knowledge of Aqidah. You have to have knowledge of those things you are in need of every day of your life as a Muslim. How to perform wudu, how to pray, how to fast, and things like this. It's fard ain, right? And then you have that knowledge that is fardun kifaya. That is a communal obligation. As long as someone has it, then it removes the sin from the rest of the body of the Muslims in that area or locale. Like the scholars, they speak about prophetic medicine, right? That someone in your community must have knowledge of prophetic medicine. Otherwise, everyone is sinful. Everyone is blameworthy, right? For leaving off something so essential, such as the Muslim are in need of, like medicine, specifically prophetic medicine, right? But if someone amongst the community has it, then it removes the blame from everyone else. You have certain branches of knowledge that are like that. When what the Shaykh is speaking about here is speaking about the affairs of Aqidah, right? Affairs of belief, as we're going to see from the Kalam of Shaykh Ubaid, which we're going to read shortly, inshallah, but from the same section, right? Because the previous section that we just covered, it spoke about these things that were actions, right? Acting upon knowledge, calling to it. This is action, right? It's action, da'wah, and patience, and so on and so forth. This is related to action. This right here is related to the aqidah, the belief system. He says that, so it indicates that the affair is not min bab al-istihbab. It's not something which is merely recommended. Man sha'a fa'al wa man sha'a tarak. Such that whoever wills, they can do it. Whoever wills, they can leave it off. But al-amr min bab al-ilzam min Allah. Rather, it is one of ilzam. It is one of obligation from Allah tabarak wa ta'ala. Laysa hadha al-ijab min qibal al-shaykh. And this obligation is not from the shaykh himself. It's not from the author himself. إنما هو من قبل الله. Rather, it is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فيما أنزل في الكتاب والسنة من إلزام العباد بهذه المسائل. Rather, it is from Allah and that which He has sent down from the book and the sunnah, from that ilzam, that making these affairs binding upon His servants. قوله يجب على كل مسلم ومسلمة. His statement that it is obligatory upon every Muslim, male and female. يجب على كل ذكر وأنثى. That it is obligatory upon every male and female. من المسلمين, from amongst the Muslims, سواء كانوا أحرارا أو عبيدا, whether they are free people or they are in bondage, they are slaves. أو ذكورا وإناثا, male or female. لأن المرأة تشارك الرجل في كثير من الواجبات إلا ما خصه الدليل بالرجال. This is the basic principle that we have, that the women, they are the counterparts of men when it comes down to many of the obligations of Islam, unless there's a dalil, evidence indicating that an obligation is specific to the men, right? If there's no evidence indicating that it is obligatory upon men specifically, then every command the man has been given, the woman is given as well, right? Prayer, learning aqidah, things like this. So it's obligatory upon them, just as it is obligatory upon us. He says that now فإنه يختص بهم, if there is a dalil, if there is an evidence indicating that an obligation is specific to the men, then in this case it is specific to them. مثل وجوب صلاة الجماعة في المساجد, like the congregational prayers in the masjid. Like the congregational prayers in the masjid, it's obligatory upon the men. We must be here, right? As for the women, it's not obligatory upon them. They can come, right? And if they come, and if they want to come to the masjid, we should not deny them, right? Unless there's an absolute need to deny them. Or if there's no need, then we should not deny them. But it's obligatory upon us. Now, he says Salat al-Jumu'ah, the Jumu'ah prayer, for example, likewise obligation upon the men, not upon the women. ومثل زيارة القبور, likewise visiting the graves, is specific to the men. إنها خاصة بالرجال, these things are specific to the men. ومثل جهاد في سبيل الله فإنه خاص بالرجال, like jihad as well in the path of Allah Azza wa Jal. This is something that is specific to the men. Sheikh Fawzani speaks about this issue because you find that some of those ignorant, they may point to specific examples of women who went out on the battlefield, like Nusayb Ammara, for example, and others amongst the Sahabiyat who were known to take place in certain battles. First of all, Sheikh Fawzan, he addresses it from a number of angles. One, is that the women were not called to come out to battle, right, and enlist as soldiers in the army, but they would come out as nurses, right? They would come out as nurses, and they would tend to the sick and the wounded that Muslims that were on the battlefield. But if it went down, they knew how to handle themselves. If something were to come to them, they knew how to handle themselves. And besides this, those women who went out in this capacity, they went out with their mahram, right? Like Amara, like every time she was on the battlefield, her husband was there, her sons were there, right? So she was there with her mahram. They would not just go out and enlist in the army and be traveling all over the world and so on and so forth, right? But they would be with their mahram, right? And the women that went out, they were few, such they can be counted on one hand. They can be counted on one hand. And again, they were not specifically enlisted as soldiers, but when the situation got hot and heavy, they knew how to handle themselves. And Nusayba, she was amongst them, right? And the stories of her actions in battle are well known. Now, at any rate, this is amongst the things that are specific to the men. فما دل الدليل على اختصاصه بالرجال فإنه يختص بهم. So whatever the evidence indicates and proves that it is specific to the men, then it is specific to them. وإلا فإن الأصل أن الرجال والنساء سواء في الواجبات. Otherwise, if there's no evidence, then the basic foundation is that men and women are equal when it comes to the wajibat, when it comes to those things that are obligatory upon them. وتجنب المحرمات, and to avoid the impermissible and the rest of the responsibilities of the religion. ومن ذلك أن تعلم العلم, and from that is that they learn knowledge. It's obligatory upon the women to learn knowledge as it is obligatory upon the men to learn knowledge. The knowledge that is wajib على الرجال والنساء, upon both. لأنه لا يمكن عبادة الله جل وعلا التي خلقنا من أجلها إلا بتعلم العلم الذي نعرف به عبادة ربنا. He said, because it is not possible to worship Allah, that work with the worship that Allah has created us for, except by way of learning knowledge, that by way of which we're able to know our Lord. فهذا واجب على الرجال والنساء. So this is wajib upon both men and women. أن يتعلموا أمور دينهم لا سيما أمور العقيدة. That they should learn the affairs of their deen, especially what it is that the Muslim believes. You must learn your aqidah, your belief system. قوله ثلاث مسائل. His statement in which he said 3 مسائل, 3 issues. من التعلم هنا معناه, the meaning of تعلم here. And this is a very, very, very important section. I want everyone to pay attention to this. He says the meaning of ta'allum here is talaqi an al-ulama, is to take from the scholars. It's to take from the scholars. This is something that we should all endeavor for within our particular scope and capability. If you are able to travel to the scholars and learn from them, then you are to do so. If you're not able to, and there are classes in your locale, in your masjid, from a teacher, Salafi upon Sunnah, then you should sit and benefit. This is the asl of how knowledge is acquired, by way of what's called talaqi. You take it from your teacher. You take it from your teacher, right? He says, by making talaqi an al-ulama wal hifth, and likewise memorization, that you memorize, wal fahm, and that you understand, wal idrak, and that you comprehend. هذا هو التعلم. This is learning. This is how learning is done. This is the basic foundation of learning. ليس مراد مجرد قراءة. It is not intended merely that you read books. That you read books, right? Books, they are means, but they're not the ghaya. They're not the goal. They're not the goal, right? So he says that you merely read books, all you do is called mutala'ah. You do it like a casual type of reading. It's not even a structured reading. Some people read, right? But it's like more of a casual type of reading and not like a structured reading. Yani I have certain times and points throughout the day wherein I'm reading and studying such and such. And then I transition and go to the next subject, and I have a special time set aside for muraja'ah. This is more of a structured type of study and reading. It's not even that. Some people, they casually read. They may read a tweet or two here or there. May read an Instagram post. May read a WhatsApp forward that came across their phone. And they call that study. They call that seeking knowledge. Right? This is more of a casual type of reading. Even if a person may open up a book, right, read a few pages out of it, put it down, go to the next book, it's casual reading. It's not what's intended. It's not ta'allum. He says that. So this is casual reading or free reading, as many of the people name it today. هذا ليس تعلما. This is not learning. إنما التعلم هو, rather learning is التلقي عن أهل العلم. That you take the knowledge from those who possess it. Take the knowledge directly from those who possess it. Now, مع الحفظ ذلك, along with memorizing that, and the scholars they mention this as a exemplary path in terms of learning and seeking knowledge, right? Firstly, that you find a small text in whatever subject that you're studying. You're studying Aqidah, get a small risala in Aqidah, like we're studying now, Surah Thalatha, right? A small book, Qawad al-Arba, right? And there are levels. There are levels that the scholars mention. Some of the basic levels of Aqidah are Thalatha Usul, Kitab al-Tawheed, Qawad al-Arba, books like this, right? The smaller Rasa'il of Shaykh al-Islam Muhammad ibn Wahhab. You take that text and you memorize it. Memorize the matan, right? If you don't have the ability to memorize it, then you make tikrar, you read it repeatedly. Read it repeatedly so that it is as if you have memorized it, right? You can read something so many times that you can visualize it in your mind. Right? You close your eyes and you say this concept is on so-and-so page towards the bottom of the page, right? So you read it repeatedly so that it's like that. It's stuck with you like that, right? And that you sit with a teacher and he teach you the book, right? So you have the hifz and you have the fahm, right? You have the fahm. The thing about just reading books alone and sufficing with that, if you have a misunderstanding about something that you read in the book can't answer the question and clear the misconception up for you. The only thing that's there is what's there, right? But your teacher can clear up those misconceptions, things you may have misunderstood, things you may have misheard or misread. The teacher can clear these things up for you, right? This is why you should take from your teacher. But this is the exemplary path that you memorize, and if you can't memorize, read it repeatedly so that it's stuck as though you have memorized it, right? And that you work your way up in terms of level and degree. So if you're studying Aqidah, find you a basic book in Aqidah, memorize the book, right? You're studying Hadith, get you a basic fundamental book in that in the Hadith, the 40 Hadith of Nawawi, for example, memorize it, right? 42 narrations, right? And then you can get the other 8 that Ibn Rajab brings, right? Completing it, making it 50 narrations, right? So you get you something like that, and you memorize it, right? You're studying fiqh. Get you a small risala in fiqh. There's books like The Conditions, Pillars, Requirements of Prayer by the same author, Shaykh al-Islam Muhammad Wahhab. You get that, memorize it, right? You got your shurut, your wajibat, your arkan salat, and everything. You got your evidences for them, right? You're studying seerah, small book. Nawawi has a seerah of the Prophet alayhi salam. Likewise, Al-Hafiz al-Hakami, he has a risala of the Prophet that's in question and answer format. Very easy, right? Very easy to read, very easy to understand. You could do it with your family, right? And so get you small books in these sciences, and then work your way up to the more complex books. After the first level, in terms of Aqidah, they mention books like At-Tahawiyya, for example, Al-Wasitiyya by Ibn Taymiyyah, and other than that, then you work your way up to the deeper and more complex books in these sciences. Whatever the case, the Shaykh says that that you make talaqqi an al-ulama or ahl ilm, that you take the knowledge directly from your teacher. In this case, he mentions the ulama. He says ma'a, along with hifz, along with memorization of that text, wa faham wa idrak tamaman, and understanding it and comprehending it completely. هذا هو التعلم الصحيح. This is correct learning. أما مجرد القراءة, as for merely reading and casual reading, فإنها لا تكفي في التعلم, then that is not sufficient in terms of learning. When كانت مطلوبة, even though these things are, and they're desirable that you read. It's desirable for the student of knowledge to be a person of books, that we love books, right? That we love books. And even as Sheikh Zayd Madkhali mentions that the Muslim should have an Islamic library. Every Muslim should have an Islamic library inside of his home, even if he's illiterate, even if you can't read, If you don't know how to read, still invest your money in books. Why? Because perhaps you will learn how to read later, or perhaps someone will visit you that knows how to read, and he can go into these books, and he can benefit you by way of what you have on your shelf. So every Muslim, should have an Islamic library. He says, so these things are desirable. Now, وفيها فائدة, and they have benefit inside of them. لكنها, however, this type of reading is not sufficient to say that you have learned, that you have studied, you have sought knowledge. He says, ولا يكفي الاقتصار عليها, and it's not sufficient that you make اقتصار upon this, that you stop there, ولا يجوز تتلمذ على الكتب, and it's not permissible, the Sheikh says, to be a student of books. It's not permissible to be a student of books, كما هو الواقع, as is the reality in this time. Many of the people that are like this. لأن التلمذ على الكتب خطير جدا, because being a student of books is very dangerous. Being a student of books is very dangerous. He says, and by way of it, there occurs mafasid, there occurs corruptions, and things that are more harmful than just being ignorant. Right? The person who was a student of books and was not cultivated at the hands of the ulama will have errors in their manners. They will have errors in their tasarrufat, in their movements, in their management of affairs and how they deal with affairs. They will have errors in that, right? Whereas, and it's not to say that a student who learned from the ulama won't have those same mistakes, but the likelihood of him having those mistakes is less than that of the one who was merely cultivated upon reading books, right? Reading books alone ain't never sat. You can always tell. You can always tell the one who really didn't sit with the ulama, how he's going to deal with his brothers, how he's going to deal with the community, how he's going to deal with those who may speak against him, how the blunders he's going to make in terms of his manners and the likes of this. You can always tell, right? Versus the ones who actually sat with the ulama, because you'll learn along with their knowledge. You'll learn manners. You learn the manners of the scholars, right? You will learn how the scholars, for example, would deal with the ignorant, how they would deal with the students of knowledge, how they deal with other scholars, right? And if you're close enough, you may even see how they deal with their family, how they deal with their children, and the likes of this. Now, and so when a person is cultivated merely upon books, they may be an intelligent person, maybe an avid reader, maybe they understand what they read well, but there will be errors and mistakes in their manners, in their suluk, in how they deal with things, and so on and so forth. So this is more harmful than just being ignorant. He said, لأن الجاهل, and this is why, because the ignorant person, يعرف أنه جاهل, because he knows he's ignorant. The one who doesn't have knowledge really at all, he knows he's ignorant. He knows he doesn't have knowledge, right? ويقف عند حده, and he's going to stop where he needs to stop at. He's going to stop where he needs to stop at. لكن المتعالم, the muta'alim, right? This is a particular type of person who's involved with the affairs of knowledge, right? Because you have ta'alum, right? The muta'alim is the one who feigns knowledge. So they say that knowledge is 3 handspans, right? Knowledge is 3 handspans. Is what the scholars say. 3 handspans. If a person attains the first handspan of knowledge, he gets the first handspan of knowledge and he stops there, he's going to become arrogant. He's going to become arrogant. If he stops there, he'll become arrogant, right? He read a few books. Yeah, you ain't know that, did you? Now you try to test the people all the time, right? Yeah, you know that, huh? Right? He stopped there, he's going to be arrogant, right? If he gets to the second handspan and stops there, doesn't go to the third, right? He stops there at the second handspan. Then at this point, he will feign humility. He's going to fake humility, right? Why? Because he learned enough to know that humility is a characteristic of the scholars, right? And he wants to be viewed as a scholar. So he's going to fake humility. But, as is the sunnah of Allah Azza wa Jal, when affairs become hot, when a pot is kind of filled up, right, and it starts to boil, the fire is turned up high, it's going to leak its contents. It's going to come out, right? The fact that he's faking humility is going to come out. We're going to see that he's really arrogant. He's really arrogant, right? But when a person, he completes the third handspan of knowledge, at that point, he's going to realize he knows nothing at all. And this will humble him. This will humble him, right? And so he's truly going to be humble at that point. So, the person who's muta'alim, he feigns knowledge. Maybe he learned a few things, read a few books, or what have you, sat in a few classes. Naam. Then this person, yara annahu alimun, he sees himself to be a scholar. He sees himself to be a scholar, right? He'll say things like, nobody in America understands fiqh like me, right? Like me and this person, right? He say ridiculous statements like this, right? He says that, and so what he will do is, yuhillu ma harram Allah. He will make halal what Allah made haram, and make haram what Allah made halal. وَيَتَكَلَّمْ وَيَقُولُ عَلَى اللَّهِ. He will speak when he should not be speaking. And he's going to say regarding Allah, he's going to speak about Allah bila ilm, without knowledge. فَالْمَسْأَلَةَ خَطِيرَةٌ جِدًّا. So this issue is extremely dangerous. فَالْعِلْمُ لَا يُخَذْ مِنَ الْكُتُبِ مُبَاشِرَةً. So knowledge is not merely taken from books alone, right? It's books alone. إِنَّمَا الْكُتُبْ وَسَائِل. The books are a means. They are means. They are a tool, right? You use them like you use your tools. Now, وَوَسَائِل, they are وسائل. أما حقيقة العلم. As for the reality of knowledge, إنها تُخَذْ عن العلماء. That it is taken from the scholars themselves, جيلا بعد جيل, يعني generation after the next generation. فالكتب إنما هي وسائل لطالب العلم. And the books are merely a means for the seeking of knowledge. And again, the student of knowledge, we love our books. We love books. We buy them every chance we get. We look for the new books that are coming out. Look for the old books that we may be missing from our libraries and the likes of this. We love the books. But the books are a means. They're not the goal. They are means. They're not the goal. Right? Now, there's a short anecdote before you read from Sheikh Ubayd's Kalam on the same point. And the Salaf, they would love books so much they would compete with each other, right, in terms of their libraries. They would compete with each other in terms of their libraries, who had the biggest library. And it was mentioned that there was an individual who, and this is from the lecture of Sheikh Salih al-Sheikh regarding the student of knowledge in books, and that there was an individual who had had amassed a huge library, right? And so someone saw it and asked him, how did you get this library of yours? He said, easy. I borrow books from people and I don't give them back. He said, is this a crime what you're doing? Is this a crime what you're doing? He said, yes, but he said that the one who lends somebody his book is an idiot. But the one who gives it back after it's been lent is even dumber than he is. Right? So this is how I got my library. Now, at any rate, just an anecdote, but this is a crime. I'm not advising anybody to do that, right? And the scholars, they would loan each other books from time to time, but they would not loan books out indefinitely, right? As one of them, his companion had asked him to borrow a book of his. He said, okay, you have 3 days with my book. You have 3 days with my book. He said, 3 days is not enough. He said, listen, I counted the pages in my book. I know how many pages there are. He said, 3 days is all you need. He said, and if you need it for more than that, I got more right to my book than you do. Take it or leave it, 3 days, So they would loan each other books and like this, seeking to benefit each other, but not for indefinite periods of time. Just take it long as you need it, and the likes of this. No. At any rate, Sheikh Ubayd mentions regarding the same section. He has some good kalam here, so I wanted to mention what he says here. Now, concerning these issues, he says, هذه المسائل التي ذكرها الشيخ هي مسائل اعتقادية. These issues that the Sheikh has mentioned are issues of creed, right? The issues that he's going to mention here in this next section that we just broke into are all issues related to belief system, right? He says, والتي مضت مسائل عملية, and that which is past is related to actions, right? Da'wah and patience and so on and so forth. المسألة الأولى ما ذكر من أن الله سبحانه وتعالى خلقنا. The first issue is that which he has mentioned from the fact that Allah created us. أوجدنا. He brought us into existence, meaning out of nothingness. Min al-adam. Allah is the only one that creates like this, who can create out of nothingness. He doesn't need things to mix things and to bring things into existence. Rather, he can create them out of nothingness. And this is the ni'mah of al-ijad. وَرَزَقَنَا, and provided for us. هذه نعمة الإمداد, and this is the ni'mah of providing sustenance. وَلَمْ يَتْرُكْنَا حَمَلًا, he did not leave us wandering aimlessly. لَمْ يَجْعَلْنَا سُدَى مُضِعِينَ, He mean he not leave us wandering about blindly without purpose. بل أرسل إلينا رسولا, rather he sent a messenger to us, and that messenger that he sent to us is Muhammad. فبعد نعمة الخلق ونعمة الرزق, so after these two blessings of creation and that of provision, تأتي نعمة الإعداد للحكمة التي خلق الله الخلق من أجلها. After that comes the preparation for the wisdom due to which Allah Ta'ala has created us. وهي عبادته, and عبادته, and that is the worship of Allah. وعبادته هذه لا يدركها الناس, and this worship of Allah, the people are not able to comprehend it properly nor perform it as it should be performed, as Allah Ta'ala wants from them, إلا بإرسال الرسول, except by way of the sending of the messenger. Except by way of the sending of the messenger. والرسول في اللغة من بعث برسالة فعول بمعنى مفعل. So the مفعول. So the Rasul in the Arabic language is the one who is sent with a message. So it is on the pattern of fa'ul, Rasul, on the pattern of fa'ul in the Arabic language. And it bears the meaning of the one who has been sent with something. Rasul means mursal, it means one who was sent forth. وفي الاصطلاح, in the Arabic in the legislation, is الرجل من بني آدم أوحى الله إليه بالشرع. A messenger is a man, and you should write this down if you're taking notes. A messenger is a man who Allah has revealed to him a legislation. وأمره بتبليغه, and commanded that man to convey that legislation. It's a man that Allah has revealed a legislation to, and he commanded him to convey that legislation. ولا بد قبل بيان معنى الآية ووجه دلالتها. So it is a must that before we explain the verse, the meaning of the verse, and why this verse is a proof for that which the author is mentioning here, and nubayyin maham and nabi, that we clarify what are the duties and functions of a prophet. What are the duties and functions of a prophet, namely the Prophet Muhammad. كما دل عليها الكتاب الكريم والسنة نبينا, as the noble book and the sunnah of our Prophet alayhi salam has made clear to us. The first of the duties of prophethood, right? Prophet has many duties, and the Shaykh, he only mentions a few of them here, right? He mentions a few of them here, 4 of them, right? But the first duty of prophethood, annahu shahid, that he is a messenger, he's a witness. He's a witness, right? He's a witness for the creation and a witness against the creation. Shahid lahum bima amilu bihi min sunnati. They are a witness for him if they act upon his sunnah. Wa shar' Allah alladhi ja'a bi, and the legislation of Allah which he brought. Wa shahid alayhim bima tarakuhu, and a witness against them due to that which they abandoned and left off. Wa lam ya'malu bi, and did not act upon. So the first duty and function of prophethood is being a witness. The second duty and function of prophethood that the Shaykh mentions here, al-bashara wa nadhara, is to bring glad tidings and to warn. To bring glad tidings and to warn. He says that, so there are glad tidings of paradise for those who obey him. وَنَذَارَ وَهِيَ التَّخْوِيفِ بِالْعِقَابِ لِلْعَاصِينَ, and to warn, and that is to strike fear, to bring fear of the punishment for those who disobey. Number 3, the third function or duty of prophethood, Nam al-hukm bayn al-nas, is to judge and rule between the people. To judge and rule between the people, and to rule in terms of their disputes, right? To rule in terms of their disputes. This was intended by the statement of Allah Azza wa Jal, فَإِن تَنَزَعْتُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ فَرُدُّوهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ. If you dispute in anything, then refer it back to Allah and His Messenger. Referring it back to Allah is referring it to the Book of Allah. Referring it to the Messenger has 2 meanings. Referring to the messenger, the first meaning, while he was alive, the Sahaba would go directly to him. He would judge in their disputes. Whatever occurred between them, he would judge and he would rule in their disputes. Now, and it is incumbent upon a Muslim to submit and yield to his judgment. And the second meaning is after he has passed away, we refer back to his sunnah for judgment. We refer to his sunnah for judgment, and the sunnah is an authority in terms of rulings. The fourth duty or function of prophethood is ta'aleem an-nas shar' Allah. Is to teach the people the legislation of Allah. To teach the people the legislation of Allah. هذه أهم وظائف الرسول. These are the most important of the duties of the messenger. فدلالة فدلالة هذه الآية على هذه المسألة واضح. And so the indication or how this verse or two verses prove and establish this mas'ala is clear. And that is the verse or these verses where Allah Ta'ala said, and this is the 15th and 16th verse of Surah Al-Muzammil. إِنَّا أَرْسَلْنَا إِلَيْكُمْ رَسُولًا شَاهِدًا عَلَيْكُمْ. Indeed, we have sent to your messenger as a witness over you. كَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا إِلَى فِرْعَوْنَ رَسُولًا. As we have sent to Fir'aun a messenger. فَعَصَى فِرْعَوْنُ الرَّسُولَ فَأَخَذْنَاهُ أَخْذًا وَبِيلًا. But Fir'aun disobeyed his messenger, and so we seized him with a terrible seizure. وَالرَّسُولُ الَّذِي أَرْسَلَهُ اللَّهُ إِلَى فِرْعَوْنَ هُوَ. And so the messenger that Allah sent to Fir'aun, of course, that was Musa. Naam, فَعَصَى Fir'aun. But Fir'aun disobeyed. Fir'aun disobeyed. Naam. He says that the wajh ad-dalala ala anna man ata'a an-Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam dakhala jannah. And so the proof, yani how we extract from this verse a proof that whoever obeys the Prophet Muhammad will enter Jannah, and whoever disobeys him will enter the fire. Naam, is in mentioning what occurred and happened to Fir'aun. By mentioning what occurred and happened to Fir'aun for disobeying Musa alayhi salam. فإن الله سبحانه وتعالى فالله تعالى يحذر هذه الأمة من معصية نبيه. So Allah Ta'ala, He warns His ummah against disobeying this messenger or this Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وأن العاصي منها, and that the one who disobeys amongst this ummah سيلقى ما لقيه العصاة والمكذبين برسولهم, will encounter that which those who disobeyed their messengers, those who belied the messengers encountered. فكأنه يقول, so it is as if he is saying, من عصى محمدا منكم, whoever amongst you disobeys Muhammad, whoever amongst you disobeys Muhammad, فإنه أُرْضَةٌ لأخذ الله. He is open or subject to Allah seizing him and punishing him. Now with a horrible punishment. كما أخذ فرعون, just as he has punished Fir'aun for his disobedience to Musa. فهذه الآية تدل على وجوب طاعة النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. So this verse proves the obligation of obeying the Messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم Muhammad, and that which he commands with, وتحذير من معصيته, and it warns against disobeying him. And it indicates as well the obligation of obedience to the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, and it warns against disobeying him. These are proven within the Sunnah. For example, there's that which has come in the Sahih of Al-Bukhari from Abu Huraira radiallahu anhu, that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, كُلُّ أُمَّتِي يَدْخُلُونَ الْجَنَّةَ إِلَّا مَنْ أَبَى. All of my ummah will go to paradise except those who refuse to go to paradise. وَقِيلَ وَمَنْ يَأْبَى يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ. It was said, who is going to refuse the Messenger of Allah? قَالَ مَنْ أَطَاعَنِي دَخَلَ الْجَنَّةَ وَمَنْ عَصَانِي دَخَلَ النَّارِ. أو فَقَدْ أَبَى عَفْوًا. He said that whoever obeys me has entered or will enter the Jannah. Whoever disobeys me, فَقَدْ أَبَى, he has refused to go to the Jannah. Now, this concludes the study of that section. We'll stop there. Allah knows best. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.